to I Did This Instead of Killing Myself, everyone. Stand-up comedy podcast based in Greenville, South Carolina. It's the week of November 28th, 2022. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. I'm recording this ahead of time because, and I had to get this episode out. And very excited for the guest today. He got some special treatment. We moved this up in the order because just so eager for you guys to learn about this person. He is a new friend, I think, in Asheville-based comic. Our guest today, James Harrod. James is a great dude. That's how I describe him. He's just a nice guy, and he's very funny, most importantly. But super likable guy, super nice guy. If you've ever been to Asheville and have seen him, he's one of the friendly faces you want to see on stage. James is originally from Raleigh, North Carolina. He moved to Asheville in 2013. He's been doing comedy for 6 years. And at 6 years in, he's just a really good comic in addition to just being a nice guy. So somebody that has kind of, up and coming in his career right now. He's working at a bookstore in Asheville, and just one of the favorite comics I get to watch there. And he's part of a group that we've gotten a chance to meet more of. So if you're from the Greenville scene, you've probably gone up, and really appreciated him spending about an hour with us. Today we talked about his comedy influences, his background, upbringing. Talked about religion, talked about sports, talked about theater, and we even talked about relationships, which guilty pleasure topic of mine. So I really like James, and so grateful. He actually wanted to do the show. That's what I'll also say. He wanted to do the show. So he's, supports the podcast. That means a lot. And so really excited. We're getting to know some of the Asheville scene and branching out a little bit. So hope you enjoy the interview. Okay, I think I sucked up to him enough. All right. Oh, yeah. James hosts an open mic every Tuesday at the Odd. So check that out if you're a comic or audience member. And if you want to see James live, he has a show this Friday, December 2nd, at the Burger Bar in Asheville. And I believe the time on the show is 8 o'clock. Double check that. Follow him on social media if you want to see that definitive time. But he has a show this Friday, December 2nd. So, all right. Before we get to the interview, though, here's what's going on this week in local comedy. The week of November 28th, 2022. So tonight we have Coffee Underground, hosted by No Expectations Comedy, Travis Thubbin, Craig Holcomb. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Sign up at 6:30. Tuesday we have the Radio Room here in Greenville. That's an 8 o'clock show. Show up, sign up. Also on Tuesday we have the Art Bar in Columbia. That's hosted by Patrick Fowler, 8:30 show. Also on Tuesday, we have James Harrod's show at The Odd. That's 9 o'clock start. DM James or show up, sign up. On Wednesday, we have here in Greenville, we have Ben Jennings hosted Comedy at the Lounge. This is a clean comedy show with Kirkland Manning, Melly Kazel, Tom Emmons. And I believe those are all the comics on the show. That's a free show, starts at 7:30. We also have in Asheville the Disclaimer open mic at the Asheville Music Hall. That's 8 o'clock. Carrie Goff is a good point of contact there. On Thursday, Jokes Out Loud is back at the Comedy Zone. That's an 8 o'clock show. Sign up for that is every Sunday at 5 o'clock on the Jokes Out Loud Facebook page. Brandon Rainwater's hosting. On Friday, we have All Jokes Aside at Habiba's, hosted by Dante Anderson. That's a 9 o'clock start. And this weekend at the Comedy Zone here in Greenville, we have Michael Blackson from Wildin' Out. He has 2 shows on Friday, December 2nd at 6 and 9, and 2 shows on Saturday, the 3rd at 6 and 9. Tickets available at greenvillecomedyzone.com. All right, that's it for local comedy. Hope you guys have a great week, and I hope you enjoy my interview with James. Here it is. James.
Hello, David.
This is James Harrod. Welcome to the show.
I feel welcome.
You feel welcome?
Yeah, thank you.
Dude, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
That you're here. And I think, or that I'm here. We're in Asheville. We're at the Odd. Shout out the Odd.
Auditorium. Oh, nope.
Is it the Odd?
Not the auditorium anymore. I forgot.
It's the Odd.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah.
Suing us actively.
Yeah. The Odd. If you haven't been, come for sure. And this is the host of the Tuesday night open mic.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited, and I think I'm most excited because you wanted to do this.
I love your podcast.
You do?
I mean, when I say that,
Go
I've
on.
only really seen an episode and a half, maybe.
Okay. Which ones did you see? I know you saw Cody's.
I watched Cody's because Cody is my friend, Cody
Yep.
Hughes.
Yep.
And I just, Cody's my friend, and I'm so curious about his inner life
Yeah.
because he won't show us.
I think a lot of us are.
So I was happy for a podcast where you really get into it.
Yeah.
So I listened to that,
Uh-huh.
and then I listened to Jess's episode as well. Jess
Cooley.
Cooley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another Asheville guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I kind of. Oh, jeez.
That was an ice machine.
Yeah, dude. We're in the back room of the Odd, and I've never been back here.
We're
It's
in the
got like
belly
a-
of the beast.
Yeah, it's got like a basement murderer vibe, but like, no, it's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because you do murders.
I do murders.
Yeah.
Very familiar. I think we come across that way as Greenville Comics. Actually,
You do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well-
yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about this at some point because we love all the Asheville people, and I guess
You love us.
I really, platonically, and
Every Asheville comic. You love.
every Asheville comic. I want to say that for the record. Because I don't know. I think Jess was the first Asheville comic I met coming down to Greenville.
Okay.
And then it was during COVID. So
Yeah.
then that kind of precipitated us starting to come up here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to thank you guys for putting up with us because I know there's been a lot of Greenville people.
Well, apparently, the week I was gone recently, there was like 15 Greenville comics, right?
Yeah.
Polluting our scene.
But yeah, exactly. It felt like, I don't know. I felt a little bit like we all got on a bus and kind of rolled up there. But
Yeah.
no, but it's I appreciate you guys having us because like this scene's great.
Thanks.
How long have you been in the Asheville scene?
I've been doing I'm from Raleigh originally.
That's right.
I moved up to Asheville to go to college. I guess that was like in 2013. And then I didn't start doing stand-up until like right before I graduated. I was 23 at the time.
Wow.
If you're doing the math, I did extra years in college, yes.
23? Well, that's okay, dude. I graduated at 23.
Yeah, it's normal. It's
Yeah.
normal if you're like bad student.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or just want to party or whatever.
Right, I partied, sure.
Yeah.
Let's just say I partied.
Did you party?
No, but let's just say that.
You didn't party?
No, I
What kind
did.
of student
no,
were
I
you
did.
in college?
What kind of student was I? Not inspired to. I think I was lazy.
Okay.
It was hard for me to like get the motivation to do just like busy work
Uh-huh.
or like be in class on time. I mean, I've always been like a bookish person. I feel. I mean, I work at a bookstore.
Yeah.
Famously.
Famously.
But I just don't. I don't think I ever responded well to like authority, being told what to do.
Okay.
I think I listened to too much like bands like The Clash. and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
just like didn't like being told what to read. I was like, I like reading, but not like this.
Right.
You know.
Y-
So I wasn't inspired to be good at school, and therefore I got C's.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. What did you like to read?
I like to read all sorts of stuff. Do you really want to talk about this?
We can.
I thought this was a comedy podcast.
Well, this is always I don't know. I just ask what comes to mind.
I try to read all sorts of stuff. You know, I read a lot of fiction. I want to read more nonfiction. Smart people read nonfiction.
I guess.
I read like westerns with like
Westerns?
guns and horses.
Okay. Yeah.
But I also read sci-fi. I read all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
It's boring.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't talk about your book choices then. But okay, so you started comedy at 23.
Yeah, I started comedy when I was 23.
Here in Asheville?
Yeah, I wish I had started earlier because I've wanted to be a comic my whole life.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the I don't even know if I want to say courage, but the push. I just didn't have that push until I was 23. And it's just because a few things in my life were like changing.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I've actually always wanted to do this. I should do it.
So it was as you were graduating, that was like
Yeah.
the transitional period where
Yeah, and I was just like getting through a long-term relationship too.
Yeah. Was it right after the breakup?
Yeah, it was.
It was.
But I wasn't doing I wasn't getting on the mic and being like, here's who I hate, you know, my ex.
Right.
It wasn't like that. I had all these joke ideas and I was just like, I should seize the day now.
Yeah.
And maybe also looking for validation through strangers.
Yeah, no, that's
Laughter.
Yeah, that's why I do it, or part of it. Dude, so it was a breakup. That's interesting.
Yeah, that helped.
Okay.
And then also I remember, because I've always wanted to be a comic, but I kind of feared that I'd waited too long at 23. Like all
Really?
my favorite comics like started when they were like younger. I felt like.
Yeah.
And they like got steam before they were even in their not like early 20s.
Yeah.
I was worried that I waited too long, and then I heard on a podcast Nick Kroll say he started when he was 23, and he got his first special when he was 33.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
yeah.
I think maybe I can do that. I don't know. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Bill Burr started when he was 23 too, if I'm remembering.
There you go. And he didn't get like a lot of traction until he was like, I mean, I know he was like a working comic for a long time, but I feel like he became a big deal like in his 40s.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I like Bill Burr's old stuff too, but it was very night showy, I feel like.
Right.
Like very tailored for that type of mainstream audience. And he didn't start like actually feel like saying what he actually said or thought until later.
Yeah.
But
Netflix specials.
He's
one of the guys who really benefited from Netflix specials.
Yeah, he did.
Uh-huh.
Now I don't know how much people benefit from those.
Yeah.
It's a little watered down.
He really got on that. Yeah.
But,
cusp,
oh shoot, what was I going to say? So you wanted to start earlier.
Yeah.
Who were, like, how, you said always wanted to be a comic?
Definitely
like, how young do you
wanted
remember actually wanting to do it?
Yeah, my family says that when I was like a little child, I like said it's my job to make you people laugh.
You said that?
No, I probably didn't say you people.
You people.
Children don't talk like that.
Yeah.
I remember they say that I was running around saying it's my job to make you laugh. And I loved all the like silly men. Those were like
silly
my favorite,
men.
like grown men acting like children were like my favorite comics.
Yeah,
like Steve Martin's was my absolute favorite.
Yeah,
and he still is.
That's a great point.
Or like I love Monty Python, still do. I love the big children vibes.
Yeah, so you like big silly men.
Yeah,
and clean, basically, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like that's kind of linked to, I don't know if you notice about me. I mean, I talk about it sometimes on stage, but I also grew up extremely religious.
Okay.
So there was like certain things that, I mean, my parents were pretty lenient. I feel like I wasn't really, I was allowed to watch pretty much whatever I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that like were kind of accepted in the household were comics that like were pretty much clean.
Okay.
Like it was a lot of Cosby. And like even like people like Jim Gaffigan were like huge with my family.
Yeah.
And I still love Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think even now, like you still like that, right? Even as an adult, like you still have a preference for that, even outside of the religious upbringing.
I mean, it's interesting. It's like definitely there's different layers to it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I listen to like extremely vulgar comedy too. I just think when I'm on stage, I tend to lean towards the. I
agree with that. With what I see when I see you on stage.
Yeah.
Because.
Can we curse on this podcast?
Fuck yeah, we can, dude. Yeah.
Cool. I won't because I'm so clean.
Yeah. I think what I noticed about you on stage is likability. Number one.
Thank you.
Like you come across super nice and likable first and foremost.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Well, it's true, but you know, likability is something that like I don't know. I don't know if I understood that well when I first started. And I think the tendency for a lot of new comics is like just say the most vulgar shit you can think of because you know somebody will like actually react.
Yeah.
But now, like, and how I try to be more likable than I was before.
I mean, I think you're likable on stage.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's very nice of you.
Especially compared to the other Greenville comics.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think you see it in younger because a lot of us in Greenville are younger and newer.
Sure.
And you try to go hard in the paint to get something.
To get attention.
Because you're so nervous, you're not going to get anything.
For sure.
So, but it's weird because I think now I even like to watch likable comedians more. Like there's certain edgy comics like Jeselnik, like who I appreciate and laugh at, but I don't. It's not my first choice if I was going to watch something. I mean, like, I like silly now,
right?
Even consuming comedy.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I like him. I like identify Jeselnik as like, this isn't my style, but I like that he tells like jokes.
Yeah.
Like, jokes, that he's like a great joke writer.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, they're like discreet jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
There's no
It's not really my style, and he does say some stuff where I'm like, oh, I don't like that.
Right.
But like I respect him for like writing the shit out. You know?
Yeah, for sure. You know what's a silly show that I've like gotten into recently is The Simpsons. Do you like
I
The
love
Simpsons?
The Simpsons.
Dude,
I grew up. I mean, that's another thing I grew up watching with my family a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I just have a nostalgia for that and the fact that it's still going, and there's just jokes on jokes. Like everything's a joke.
Yeah.
And it's just so silly all the time. And like, despite the world being so fucked up, The Simpsons is still the same. They're still in the same 4th grade. They're still.
That is true. It's kind of calming in that way.
Yeah.
Like anything could happen, but The Simpsons are still the same.
Do you have any like comfort food for your brain that you will consume, like whether a TV show or like stuff you read or like stuff online?
Yeah, that it's really interesting. Like, I've come to view it. I think sports are a big comfort for me. Like I love watching basketball games and hockey also.
Yeah,
and
is that a hockey jersey right there?
Yeah.
Who's that?
This is actually. I'm gonna sound like pretentious. This is an old team. It's like the Quebec Nordiques. They don't exist anymore.
Hell yeah!
I kind of like obscure jerseys and stuff. Yeah,
niche stuff.
But
it's very Asheville.
It doesn't even have to be like a team that I like, care about. You know, I'll just like throw on a game and kind of just watch it.
Okay.
While I like work on other things or like kind of just like disassociate. It's kind of nice as just background noise. And even when I'm watching basketball, I like the way like the sneakers sound on the.
Yeah.
It's like very like calming for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Baseball's like that for me.
Oh yeah, baseball's great like that.
Because I don't have a team that I really care about, but especially games in the summer that really don't mean anything. But if you're just on the couch and just have it on, and you could fall asleep, wake up, and not much has changed.
Absolutely. And that has baseball has good sounds too, like the crack of the bat. You know.
Yeah.
Nice.
You big into sounds?
I guess I am. I guess I'm finding that out right now.
Have you ever incorporated sound effects in your act? I don't think I
ASMR?
know. Yeah, ASMR. Yeah.
No. Well, actually, I do have like a bit where I like catch something in my mouth. I like catch a hard candy in my mouth and I go.
Oh yeah, I've heard that bit.
That's
before.
a sound.
Yeah.
I think that might be the only sound I use though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed from like really I don't know. I feel like famous comics, I see them incorporate sounds.
Absolutely.
Or I'll watch a bit and laugh at it and be like, oh, wait, he just did deliberate sound effects.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm too much of a pussy to try them sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I put myself out there with the big sound effect and it gets nothing, I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you were raised, I talk about religion a lot.
That's okay.
Raised evangelical?
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting. I went to a Presbyterian school.
Okay.
Which is like, it's like very similar to Catholic school, but like not as intense. But
sure,
but
I know
still intense. There's still a lot of fire and brimstone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like less.
Like
there aren't as many like old guys in outfits around.
Okay.
You know, but there's a lot of like
not as many robes.
There's still a lot of scary imagery.
Yeah.
You know, and so I went to a Presbyterian school. But with my family on Sunday, we went to like a non-denominational church with like the drums, you know?
Yeah, man, the rock band.
Like the drums were there.
Smoke machines.
Exactly. So like, I got a weird mix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you stuck with it how long?
Like being religious?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I really think I had doubts pretty early on.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember just kind of thinking to myself, being like, it wasn't even a thing where I was like doubting religion. I was just kind of like, why does no one that I think is cool is religious? You know?
Yeah.
Like
who did you think was cool at the time?
Yeah.
That wasn't religious. Who did you?
So I was getting into comics, you know, and then I would slowly realize that like every comic had a bit about religion where they're like, this is bullshit, right? And I was like, is it bullshit? I don't know. It seems like my parents like it a lot, you know? And then also I remember when I first started watching like things like The Daily Show,
right?
You know, where Jon Stewart was just like very clearly like, hey, I'm atheist, you know? And then I remember being like, I think I should be too.
Yeah.
Even before, I don't know.
Even before you actually let go of it all the way?
Actually really felt that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
If that
feel,
makes sense.
No, it does totally
Yeah.
make sense. And I feel, I mean, I ask people about this a lot because I still don't know like where my head's at completely. So
Sure.
it helps to hear other people's thoughts on it.
Sure.
But, so when do you think it was that you like didn't feel like it was the right thing versus just,
Well, there was a ton of like, I think people talk about certain realizations that are pretty common. Like when you realize, for me, when I was like, if I was born somewhere else, I would probably just believe that religion. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
like just happenstance, I was born here and I
Yeah.
grew up Christian.
yeah,
But I was born like, you know, in a different country or like a different part of
Yeah.
the world. I would probably believe whatever they believe.
yeah,
It's just like wherever I was raised, that's what I thought.
for sure.
And like it's kind of like thinking about common sense stuff
Mm-hmm.
in church,
Yeah.
where I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And I know not all religious people do that
Mm-hmm.
practice and all the dogma and stuff.
Yeah.
They just are religious
Yeah.
in their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, that's great. Like, my parents are very religious and I think that's like good for them.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's not what I want to do. I'm glad my mom has that in her life.
For
A
sure.
thing that like guides her, makes her feel fulfilled.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
for sure.
I just think that it didn't work for me and it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And also, I don't like that I didn't have a choice. That's a big thing recently, where I was like,
sure.
I was just raised and they were like, yeah, you're going to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I kind of wish someone had been like, do you want to do this?
Yeah. For
So-
sure. And that tends to happen
Yeah.
like once you leave home. It's interesting how your perspective changes, not just on religion, but on everything. Like, the world's bigger than what you thought it was. You thought
Right.
it was just this enclosed
Exactly.
space.
Sheltered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you get out and see, the more you understand it might not have been what you thought it was.
Totally.
But
And I really don't like, I mean, some comics really lay into religious people, and I can't really like bring myself to do that.
yeah, I don't.
And
yeah.
I used to do a bit about it, whereas like I remember I was on the internet and they were like showing a video. I got like a video ad
Mhm.
about it was Ricky Gervais, I think.
Okay. He's a famous
he's such a
atheist,
big capital A atheist. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It was
I
like-
love his stuff.
It was like a thing where it was like Ricky Gervais owns Christian community and it was him on it was like him on Colbert, because Colbert is like a Catholic,
Yeah.
like a practicing Catholic.
Yeah.
And Ricky Gervais was just kind of going in, and then Colbert would say something, but the video was like edited to make Colbert just seem like a moron.
Yeah.
Just because he was the religious guy.
Right,
Like when
right.
Ricky would make a point, it would be like smooth jazz
Yeah,
playing.
yeah.
But like when Colbert would say something religious, like a dumb tuba would start,
Yeah.
like being like burp, 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 burp. I was like, of course he sounds dumb when you play that tuba.
Yeah.
And
was
I-
Colbert like in on this thing, kind of?
No, I think this is a slam thing.
Oh, it was a slam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Gotcha.
I actually hate Ricky Gervais.
You do?
Yeah, I can't stand him.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you not like about him? That he's a little pretentious?
He's pretentious. I think he's like so pretentious, and he just represents a kind of comedy that I just like.
yeah.
It does nothing for me.
How would you describe his style of comedy to you?
Well, just kind of when he
Like he's smarter than everyone else, kind of?
definitely thinks that, and I
Yeah.
think he would agree that he thinks that,
Yeah.
which like makes me mad too.
Yeah.
And then like just when because he had the second wave of his career when he like hosted the Golden Globes, I feel like.
right.
And everyone was like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I just remember feeling like, this is not
Yeah.
something I like.
It's almost like, because talk about guys who made it later in life. I mean, he made it in his 40s, I think. Because The
well,
Office
I
was
love
that.
the British Office.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's so good.
But then
Yeah.
maybe once he gets, the
Yeah.
mic and the Golden Globe audience,
Yeah.
he's like got an axe to grind and more like
Totally.
that kind of comes out in his style.
And you see it happen with other comics too. I mean, I can't really think of any right now, but like where they have this like first act where I'm like, well, I like that.
yeah.
And then later in their career, they become someone where I'm like, oh, I don't know anymore.
yeah.
You know?
I'm going to say something. Well, this is probably going to be controversial to people who
That's okay.
love this guy, but
It's okay.
Chappelle, I feel like that.
Yeah,
a
I
little
feel the
bit.
same way.
Do you? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Because if you go back, like my favorite Chappelle stuff is Killing Them
Killing Them
Softly.
Softly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Which was in the DC special, I
Yeah.
think. And he was so good.
So good.
and it was good in and of itself because nobody had to know what his opinion was on this political topic.
Yeah.
And now I feel like he's so larger than life that he feels compelled to weigh in on everything. And it's still funny, but I kind of want to joke about Chappelle walking down the street and he saw a dog or something.
Sure.
You know?
Or I remember, like, one of, like, maybe I'm misremembering the jokes, but I remember on Killing Them Softly, yeah, he just had kind of like slice of life, observational
that's a good
jokes where it's just like Dave Chappelle living his life.
Yeah.
That are really funny. Like him talking about like just hanging out with friends, which is like good. I think you should have that in your comedy. Mm-hmm. And I mean, ideologically, I just don't agree with him on a lot of stuff now. Yeah. But just like even apart from that, just the way his specials are, and I haven't watched like the last few, but the last one I watched, it was just a guy who's just so satisfied with himself. Like he's just so like, damn, I'm good at this. Yeah. Which is just not, doesn't appeal to me as much. Yeah. I like insecurity. Exactly. In comedians. And that's sincere. Yeah. It's really hard. It's a hard balance, dude. It is. Do you find that? Because I feel like there's like this like line between competence, confidence, and arrogance. And if you like cross into the arrogance line, you're bad. You're not likable anymore. Yeah. But if you stay too below that, then you're not competent anymore. Right. So how do you like in your stand-up? How do you balance that? I am a stand-up. You are a stand-up. No, you're very funny stand-up. I'm just asking, like, how do you balance that, like, in your own head, like, on stage, between those lines of like, knowing what you're doing and being confident versus. Sure. I mean, I feel like I have a lot of confidence issues, but it's not on stage. Okay. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I think on stage I feel pretty emboldened to say this, what I want to say. Mm-hmm. I think all the confidence issues that I have are like brim from my like interpersonal relationships. Right. And then when I'm on stage, I get to talk about that stuff, which is like a release. Absolutely. It's like healing. And I get excited to do it. Yeah. No, that's a great, that's a great way. I feel similarly about if there is something that I feel really insecure about, just go talk about it on stage. Yeah. And then you can talk about it honestly. Which probably isn't healthy. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't know if it's healthy using it as, I mean, it should be funny, like punchlines and everything else. I don't always love when comics use it as like a therapy session. Right, exactly. We should have therapists. Yeah. Right. But no, that's a good way to balance it. But I mean, I don't know. Did you always feel like that? Because when you were 23 starting, like are you like 7 years into comedy now or 6 years? Yeah, around there. 6 years. Yeah. 6 years? I'm 29. 29? Mm-hmm. Not 30 yet. I want to say, yeah. Wait, you're 29 too? No. Dude, I'm 34. Oh, yeah, I can tell. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. That's why I brought the light, bro. We're trying to get good lighting. The wrinkles are gone. Yeah. Yeah, it's like. Did you ever? So my question, I guess. Yeah. What's up? Insecurity in the early days. Did you have that kind of more so where you were like less sure of yourself on stage? It was like, oh man, I'm trying to think when I started because like. I think I was so excited to start doing comedy. Mm-hmm. And I also remember, like, some people say when their first set was, like, bad. I remember my first set, I was like, that was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I had no way to judge things because I, like, just started doing stand-up. But I was like, man, I thought that was going to be bad. I guess I'm great at this. Yeah. And then it was almost more, like, I don't know, dangerous that way. Because then I, like, when I actually did eat shit, it felt bad. Yeah. Do you remember the first time you bombed? Nah, I don't really have a good like bombing story, which is, I mean, dude, you're so likable. You don't have a good bombing story. No, that's not true. I bomb. I absolutely bomb. I just don't like bomb in like a fun way. Some people would be like, I bombed and then a dog died or something, but like I don't really have a story like that. Yeah. Did bombing crush you early? Yeah, I mean, I think the main crushing thing. Because my friends, like, I started doing stand-up when I was in college. Mm-hmm. And my friends from college would just come see me all the time. Oh, shit. So I think that was part of the reason why I did well. Yeah. Because it was just my college friends a lot of the time. Yeah. But I remember when I did bad, it felt bad, too, because it was my friends. Yeah. Just being like, well, that wasn't good. I was like, Well, you guys are supposed to like me.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
you know,
And that hurts the worst to me when a friend sees you bomb.
it sucks.
Because
sucks.
because they know I just think of this, like they know all the time
Yeah.
that you're spending at Mike's, and then the one time they see you, and if it's bad, it's like
Yeah.
you feel like an idiot. Like
Yeah.
I've been spending all this time working on this shit, and then
Right.
the one time I'm here to prove that it's something.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It just makes you feel like fucking pathetic.
And it feels especially troubling when they're not honest with you, but you can tell they didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Oh.
Like I remember one time the person I was dating at the time, their dad, they saw me with their dad,
Uh-huh.
and it was a bad show.
Yeah.
Like it was bad. Like there's nothing to be taken away from it. That was good. And I got off stage and like I asked their dad, like I was like, "Oh, you saw me do." This is the first time he had seen me do comedy. I was like, "Did you like it?" And he was like, "You had some good ones," which is that just like crushed my whole week was like in the drain.
Well, you didn't think it was good though, right?
Bad show.
Oh.
But the fact that
Why'd you ask?
That's a great point. I shouldn't have asked. But I remember just the way he felt like he had to be like, "You had some good ones,"
Yeah.
versus just being like, not your best. That would have felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. Dude, I bombed in front of my whole family one time.
Your whole family?
Yeah. I don't think I've told this on here, so I could tell you real
Okay.
quick. But yeah, this was last December. It's about a year ago.
Okay.
And I think I was only like a year and a half into comedy at that point.
Yeah.
And there was a music open mic that
Like a
my
mixed
dad
mic?
found. Yeah.
Oh,
downtown, like
Ooh.
Holland, in Michigan. And
Holland.
yeah, Holland, Michigan. That's where I'm
Okay.
from. It's like a little Dutch town. And
It is
anyway.
actually Dutch?
Yeah, it's kind of a Dutch settlement. West Michigan had a lot of Dutch settlers. I'm pretty
Oh.
Dutch. Most of my family's pretty Dutch.
Oh, I didn't. That's cool.
Yeah. Tulips. Yeah, check it out. It's
Yeah.
good. Tim Allen does a lot of really cringy commercials about pure Michigan. I don't know if you ever
Tim
seen
Allen?
those. Yeah. So these used to be on.
Oh, I forgot
few
he's a
years ago.
Michigan guy.
Oh, he's
like
Michigan
Detroit,
guy.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Michigan's cool, but so this was Holland and in the winter, and there was like I didn't know what to expect, but it was like a big theater. And there was like a ton of people there to
Yeah.
watch these bands. Most of the people were there to see these bands.
Yeah.
And the slots were like 15 minutes. I was like, dude, I'm not doing 15 minutes of stand up. Yeah. At that point.
Because for like musicians, like, 15
want-
minutes.
Yeah. You want to see
That's-
3 songs?
That makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And it is not a comedy. I was like, Dad, this is comedy, right? He's like, yeah, they do comedy. And I was like, what? Like, and
Yeah.
so we get there and they, there's a host that's not a stand-up MC. He just gets up there, tells about the bands, and he says, "Okay, we got a comedian first," and like so nobody's even paying attention or laughing,
Yeah.
or even in the mode of a show. And I just went up there and said jokes that I thought were like high percentage jokes, and the only people laughing were like I heard laughs that were like fake laughs trying to from like family members, and the rest was just oh my god. And that was basically the longest 8 minutes ever. And
8 minutes is long to do bad also.
Very long. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I had a buddy of mine who came out and played the piano and did like funny songs.
Oh, fun.
Just improv, and he did it right after my set and just did stuff about the jokes
Oh
that I was
my
doing.
God.
So that was entertaining to people.
Yeah,
and that
sure.
kind of like cleansed the palate of how awful the set was. But I remember after that was a really hard one.
Yeah.
That was really hard. But I remember after how I felt coming back to normal mics with normal audiences. I felt so much freer because I was like, I had an evangelical family too. And one of my biggest insecurities was having them hear directly thoughts that I really think or things that might be edgy that I'd be afraid to say in front of them. But
did you feel that when like, because I always like, I don't know, I kind of just decided in my mind that I was like, I'm never going to censor myself for my family when they're around. So I was just kind of like.
Did you decide that after you started doing comedy or like earlier in life? Would you like, I'm going to tell them what I'm up to. They're going to know.
No.
Oh, it was later.
Just like when I'm doing stand up, I'm not going to like change for them.
Right.
I think it's important that they see.
Yeah.
I remember making that decision before they ever saw me. And then when I like did shows, I was like, maybe this wasn't the best decision, you know?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It comes
about
into focus when they're in the room and you're
Right.
like, shit, I actually am going to say this.
that? Right. This is the part where I talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
the point where I started letting go of that, and I'm so glad I started letting go of it,
Yeah.
because I was one person in my personal life and another person with
Yeah.
them, and I kind of wanted it to be more. I mean, there's certain things they don't need to know, but like,
Yeah, sure.
I kind of want to be a real person in front of them. It was during COVID. It was actually when I started this podcast.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they're not going to see it. So, and that was kind of the whole point of this, was
Yeah.
like letting go of that and just creating something and not caring.
Sure.
And that's why the name is what it is. It's like, I was so torn about it that
Yeah.
like it was this, because I was so miserable just, not expressing myself. That
Yeah.
It was this or that.
Yeah.
I wasn't really suicidal. That's a whole other thing. But,
Well, it's okay.
but yeah, I think that was kind of the point where I assumed they would see it. And like they're gonna
Yeah.
hear some things, but I do want to be honest and have
Sure.
fun with something. So
I mean, that's
that-
important.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's. I mean, I feel a lot of those same feelings, where like expressing myself through stand up was so important.
Yeah,
But like caring, I don't know. I wish I hadn't been so pretentious about it when I started, where I was like, I'm not changing for my parents.
oh, okay, you're on
But
a
like
man
the-
on a mission kind of deal.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. But it's like when I
Yeah.
started, I wasn't good. You know,
Yeah.
it was it's like a lot of dick jokes.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I feel like that's just what happens when you start.
Yeah.
You like do crass material.
crass. Yeah, for sure.
It's rudiment,
Yeah, for
just
sure.
like not stuff I'm like particularly proud of.
Right.
But I was
not that
like,
creative
I'm not
or
gonna
to the level of what you
yeah.
could do. Yeah.
I remember being like, should I tell the joke about eating wings than touching my dick in front of my mom? And then being like, of course I am. But now I look back being like, that was a bad joke.
Did that really
Why
happen?
did I feel like I needed to do that?
Did that really happen though?
Well, the
I love it if it actually happened.
well, the joke is it's just about how that does happen. You know?
Okay.
It's not really about a specific experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a we've all been there.
I don't know if I've ever done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
was a
now-
bad comic though.
It could easily have happened though. I eat a lot of wings and I'm not very clean.
You gotta wash your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, that's cool, man. So 6 years into comedy, Asheville. You ever thought about moving?
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about moving to a few places. I mean, it was a thing where like COVID kind of muddled up plans a little bit that I was thinking about. But initially I wanted to move to LA, which is like a big move.
Yeah, dude. You want to be an actor?
But that's the thing. Like, I kind of don't care. Like,
Do
I
you
would
want to act?
I would rather be I mean, I like acting. I acted a lot in high school, and I
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
I like being in like my friends' projects and things.
Uh-huh.
I have no aspirations to be like leading person
Sure.
in anything. I think being a writer would be cool.
Okay.
Like on shows.
Yeah.
But then I've kind of changed tracks where I think moving to Atlanta would be good.
Okay.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Move
Yeah,
to
Atlanta
Atlanta.
would be a nice...
Because Atlanta has a lot going on. And like
Mhm.
good comics, like all the comics that come in from Atlanta, I'm like, damn, you're funny and
Yeah.
nice. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite Atlanta comics? I know Cody's sister's there.
Yeah, she's hilarious. And like well, there's a lot of good ones. Minori Hines, who used to live here, lives there.
Okay.
And I love Evan Rollins.
Okay.
You know him? Or
No, this might have been a
That's
bad
okay.
question because I
Brian
may not know
King,
his-
very
Brian
funny.
King. Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
There's a guy.
Tamar
dang it.
Rubin, she's
Okay.
great.
There's this sucks because I'm not going to remember his name.
Will Foskey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will Foskey. He had a special that I
He's very
saw,
funny.
YouTube special. That
Mhm.
was great. There's a guy that's like in the same, I don't know. He's always at Laughing Skull too. What's his
Yeah.
name? Nick something. God damn it. This is bad because people won't even know. I won't be able to look him up. But that guy is absolutely hilarious. I agree. Atlanta's a great place to
Yeah.
to group com.
And
But
it's got a lot of good rooms too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Well, also like it's another thing too, where my friends from here, a few of them have already moved there.
okay.
So like I could go and be
that
like,
helps.
Hey,
if
I'm
they,
back,
if they blaze
you know?
a trail and
Yeah.
like, you
Well,
actually,
and they're people I like too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you have some fun. Yeah, you have some friends to hang
like
with.
I don't know if you've ever met Kenny Stempion.
Kenny Stempion?
He's
No, I haven't.
Isn't it fun just to say names?
It is. It's fun to name drop obscure people that nobody knows. So, but acting though. So you acted in high school. What did you do? Did you do
Yeah.
musicals?
Oh yeah.
Did you sing?
Well, I've never been gifted in that way, I like I would sing in some things.
I see.
I always had a character who could kind of, get through scenes without singing.
So give me an example of a production you were in.
Yeah, so I was in. You don't know musical? Sorry, I didn't mean to assume that. Maybe you do know musical theater.
I was in Music Man, and
I was about to say that I was in the Music Man.
Really? Yeah, dude.
I was the
Harold Hill.
Yeah, well, Harold Hill was played by one of my best friends.
Okay.
He got the lead.
Yeah.
And then I was the mayor in the Music
The
Man.
mayor?
He's like the main villain.
Nice.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I got a lot of laugh lines, which is great.
Yeah. That's awesome. I was in the Music Man, and it was Music Man Junior. I'm really mad I quit doing theater because I felt like I did sports.
Sorry, I assumed that about you that you did.
Yeah, maybe you're not that nice, James.
Yeah, that was not nice of me.
I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't think that about me either.
We're both kind of like Zac Efron in High School Musical.
Yeah.
Because I played sports too. And I really had to wait. I was like, do I like this or do I like this?
Right. Right, for sure.
What kind of guy am I?
Yeah. Well, okay, do you remember the part in the Music Man that was the anvil salesman?
Yeah, of course.
And he was the guy that
and
tried to blow the lid?
He drops the bag on his foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Were you that?
I was that guy.
You were the anvil salesman.
Yeah.
That's a good role.
But dude, I was so nervous. So terrified. Like I was like I couldn't even be directed by the director because I couldn't handle it to the point where there was like a kiss scene between
the anvil salesman,
and the love
Oh wait,
interest.
there is.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
And we were even simulating the kiss because I was too afraid to actually kiss the girl.
Yeah,
and like it wasn't working right, and and like they were trying to give me feedback, and I was so sensitive that like we took a break and I left. My house was in the neighborhood and I went home. And they're like, "Where did David go?" And I went home.
Oh, David.
And it was a miracle that I got through the production. And
the girl's probably like, "Wow, he really didn't want to kiss
yeah, this guy has issues. This guy, yeah."
You were like, "I just don't think the anvil salesman would do that."
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I think he's too wrapped up in his work.
Yeah, it wasn't even. Yeah, it wasn't even creative license or anything. Yeah, it was just terrifying.
No, I mean, I remember when I was in 8th grade, I was cast in Romeo and Juliet. I was Romeo.
Oh, hell yeah.
And Juliet.
I could see being a good Romeo, dude.
Thank you, I guess. Isn't he kind of like a love obsessive who kills himself at the end of the production?
Yeah,
But yeah, and then a person who I had a huge crush on was Juliet. And
in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you, I couldn't muster up the courage to kiss someone on stage.
Yeah.
I was too scared. So we wrote it out. Like we were both too nervous to do it. So we were like, yeah, Romeo and Juliet don't kiss. Which is an insane that's an insane thing to change about that play.
Yeah. How did the rest of the production go?
Fine. It was kind of, if I'm being totally honest, it was kind of a garbage thing because what we did was like a modern rendition of Shakespeare plays.
Okay.
So it was a lot of mini Shakespeare plays.
Okay.
Where we did like modern Macbeth, then like modern Romeo and Juliet.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, you rather would have had to be authentic, historical, whatever.
I mean, something, or just like if we had just focused on one of them. Too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also,
But you kind of did both.
Instead of doing like Romeo and Juliet in the mall. I wish we had done it. I wish we had done it normal.
Romeo and Juliet in the mall
at Fuddruckers or something.
Yeah, the stakes are a little different.
Yeah,
the Capulets and the Montagues.
I mean, it was 8th grade too. It's not like we were like.
Oh, it was 8th grade. Okay,
yeah, that was like young.
Were their families like in the mall to get food court fighting? Like Capulets.
No,
and the
I don't. I wish I remembered more about it. I just remember it was bad.
Yeah, I gotcha. I still love the high school, middle school productions though. Yeah. They're so cool to see. Like I was in Atlanta last Thursday and I saw my cousin and she was in a production of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh. Yeah.
And they go to a private school and but they did such a great job. Yeah. And it was really, really funny. I was like really impressed with the kid. Like you've seen Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yeah.
Like there's
I know about it.
Yeah, you know Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. It was awesome. Like they gave the guy who did the candlestick was absolutely hysterical.
Lumiere.
Yeah. Lumiere. Yeah, he just
that's a good role.
Yeah,
that's like a chunky like. Yeah. You're gonna have fun when you're.
Yeah, he was chasing around the little dust girl lady. He's like ho ho ho, and like
he's like It's like like a middle schooler doing like a exaggerated French accent.
Yeah.
Acting like Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah, exactly. And actually, some of it was a little
Sure.
over the line, even for like by today's Me Too standards. I was like, oh, okay, Lumiere.
Right, we need to adjust some things.
Right, right. It was never bad, but I just thought at the end, like, you know, it reminded me of stand-up in that. Like, it's weird to me when you watch a stand-up show, like at the beginning nothing's happening and like a show somehow is created out of nothing.
Right.
And it was the same thing. Like, there was just a black stage. There was nothing out there. And then all of a sudden they create this world for us.
Yeah.
And it's literally just kids, lines, and music notes. And they made this whole thing. And it was also cool to just see kids giving a shit.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know?
That's one of my favorite things about that kind of stuff. Is that like it's kids like really banding together to do like some art, you know?
Right, to make art.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and not to like, I mean, I don't know. I'm out of touch. I don't know like what high schoolers do now, but the cliche I think of is just TikTok and, you know, just a lot of instant gratification type stuff. But, you know, to see a production that had been months in the making and and a big crowd out there to support them.
And I remember at my school, when I would like be in a production, people would come up to me who like I would never talk to otherwise and be like, hey man, I saw you in this. Yeah. That was cool. Yeah. I'd be like, you know who I am? And like, that was always like really cool.
Yeah. Like what kind of people, like just people outside of your friend group or outside of like,
or like
they
an
were
older,
different...
like an older kid.
Yeah.
Like, and I'd be like,
cool kids you looked up to or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, you went to that, you know? And like, and like people who I thought were like mean or like too cool for me. It's like, oh, you're not, you're normal.
Yeah.
Which that was always nice.
Yeah.
And like also it was a cool way to see kids who don't necessarily come out of their shell.
Yep.
Just really ham it up on a stage and sometimes be really funny.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, you're not usually like that.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that too.
Yeah.
The guy who played the Beast was definitely a nerdy guy who got to shine. Like you could tell.
Like
just
I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get the crossover too of like athletes and non.
Yeah, for sure.
But you were both. So you were an athlete in school too?
Yeah, really. It's kind of hard to decide which one I was more mediocre at, honestly.
Oh, come on. What was your best sport?
So I played hockey when I was a little kid.
Okay.
And now I liked playing hockey. It's hard to say whether I was good or not because I was like small, but it definitely made me love hockey my whole life. And then when I was in high school, I really got into basketball. I still love basketball.
Yeah.
And I think at one point I was okay at basketball. Like I was just fine.
Were you a starter?
Yeah, some years. Well, I was one of those guys that some years I was a starter, some years I was a bench player. You know, it's like I was never like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never like the star or like the guy.
So what position did you play in basketball? Were you out on the wing or your point guard?
So I was a power forward, like
you were
four.
Hell yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I wasn't like the biggest guy. My thing was rebounding.
Okay.
I like played a real kind of Rodman kind of game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really tenacious, kind of like defense and rebounds.
Dude, that's exactly the type of basketball player I was.
Nice. Yeah.
And I never felt overly confident with basketball. I think because like when I don't know. I wasn't much of a scorer. I wouldn't look to score.
Right.
I'd be like, okay, I'm going to play my part in the offense.
Exactly.
And then kick it out to the good kid.
That's kind of how I felt. Yeah.
And then defense, rebounding, it's just all effort. So that's all.
Exactly.
I can control my effort and energy.
Exactly.
So that was that. But in hockey, were you more defense or were you more offense?
Yes, I was a defenseman.
Okay. Did you like hitting people?
I was more of a like protect the goalie kind of guy, like defensive stick plays. I remember I liked being able to like stop the star player.
Okay.
Who like would be like a hot shot kid, usually with like better hair than everyone else. Yeah. Where he's like doing tricks. I liked being able to be like get the puck out of there.
Yeah.
I thwarted you. I like thwarting people.
I got you. For some reason, I thought you were going to say you were a big hitter. Like I thought you were going to say you were like Mighty Ducks.
I could get physical.
Yeah.
But it's just part of the job for me.
Yeah, for sure. No, I know. Well, sometimes they say that like the hardest hitters are who you like never expect.
Yeah, sure.
Like it's something that off the ice or off the field, they're like not that way.
Well, hockey's changed a lot too because like hitting is kind of like not as in vogue as it was.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But now when people do execute a big hit, it's like a bigger deal.
Yeah,
and it kind of changes the whole like game.
Do they call more penalties on hits now to discourage it, or is it more like they the game's gotten faster and smaller.
Well, you
and
know how
more
football's
athletic.
done like nothing to like dissuade headshots and things like that?
Yeah.
I think NHL really tried to crack down on that a
Yeah.
little bit. So they're really trying to keep players safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NFL hasn't done crap.
They're bad at that.
I mean, they penalize more, but you can't get away from it just because of
No.
the way the game is.
Yeah.
I always loved hitting. That was my favorite. I think I just had a lot of angst pent up.
Right. And it is
uh,
crazy in hockey how you can actually just like do a fight where you punch
Yeah.
each other in the face.
Are those still happening? I haven't watched a lot of NHL. Do fights still happen where
So-
they'll pause the game and allow
yeah.
gloves off and like?
I mean, that's still part of the game, way less than when I was a kid.
Mhm.
In fact, when it happens now, you're like, oh shit, I forgot this could happen.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then like guys are like brawling like old
Yeah.
school. And some teams do it more than others.
Mhm.
But you know, when I was a kid, like every team had like a goon.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
they'd like
yeah.
throw that guy out there and be
Yeah.
like, go fight someone.
Dude, have you seen that movie?
Oh yeah, with
Goon?
Sean Williams. That's his name, right? Sean William Scott.
The guy from American Pie, whoever
Stifler.
that is. Dude,
Stifler.
Goon. There's Goon 2. Goon 1.
Yeah, it's great.
One of the funniest.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
Oh my gosh.
Liev Schreiber, he's great in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the guy from She's Out of My League? I just remember.
Oh, John Mulaney, or not John Mulaney. He's kind of Mulaney-esque.
Yeah.
Jay Baruchel.
Yeah,
That's his
yeah.
name, Jay Baruchel.
I just remember when he made the team and they asked to pick a number. He's like, pick 69. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's a good.
That's a great movie.
But yeah, man. So athlete comedy.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah. How are we doing on time for
I
the
was starting
mic
to check
here?
the
You should
clock.
probably check because I have no idea what time it
I have
is.
a show tonight. It's 8.
It's 8. We need a little
Mhm.
time to set up. We can go a couple more minutes, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's. Yeah.
What do you know now about comedy that you didn't know when you started? What's a lesson you've learned in comedy for all the Greenville people that may be listening to this that could be
I don't mean to shit on Greenville comics. Like I
no, I don't mean it either. I
any
just think,
scene is whatever.
for sure. I think
There's good and bad.
yeah. I'm kind of kidding too, but
Yeah.
self-awareness and where we're at too is important. Like
Yeah.
of how to get better, how to like just things that. And I asking
Yeah.
the question. I think honestly, I'd appreciate knowing, like, because I'm at 2.5 years, and there's stuff I'm just like I was
Oh, you're still
nuts
pretty
that I
new,
used to
I-
think
yeah.
when
Yeah.
yeah. So got any nuggets for us, James? Any
I mean, I think that the big thing I've been thinking about recently, and it seems to help with my sets, is that I used to like decide a set was going to be good or bad, as it was going on early in my set. If a joke wasn't going the right way, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to kill it tonight. Or like if I like identified the crowd as being weird, like mid-set, I feel like I would give less effort.
yeah.
But I've had some sets that start off like kind of slow, or like I don't think they're on my side.
Yeah.
And then I do get them, and like by the end I'm like, oh, this is actually one of my favorite sets I've done.
yeah.
Whereas like when I started, I would have just been like, it's not gonna happen. I would have like given up on myself, or like done material I didn't care about, or like sabotage myself.
For sure.
I think I overthink not comedy, but how I'm doing, like how I'm coming across
in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good just to kind of like,
Let go of that a little
Yeah.
bit and just do your stuff.
really kind of like suppress those like, did they react to that the way I thought they would? Or
Yeah.
things like that. Because sometimes an audience reacts to something not the way you thought, but it's
Uh-huh.
not bad.
Right.
You're like, maybe the joke is that from
Yeah.
now on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I feel that too in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be like motivated like out of fear when you're up there.
Yeah.
So much, and just keep going. In fact, I had somebody say that about a set I did recently. It was like, just don't bail so soon.
Right.
Don't
Right.
bail.
Right.
Just stay in there.
Like, don't press the panic button.
Yeah. Which is hard on a new bit.
It can be.
To be like, fuck, like, I was
Yeah.
expecting 3 laughs by now. There was basically half of one, and now I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what the rest is gonna do.
Or I'll try to give myself an excuse to just be shitty. Like I'll be like, oh, they're all watching the game that's on, you know. So like I don't have to be good tonight.
Yeah.
Or like the other night at Disclaimer, they like gave away tickets to the Impractical Jokers.
Dude,
like,
I saw that. I remember that.
Right before I went on stage.
Yeah, and you were mad.
And, well, they were all talking about it.
They were talking.
I could tell they were in like a titter about it.
And it was Carrie giving them the tickets. That was the distraction.
So I think earlier in my stand-up lifeline, I would have been like, fuck it, I'm not going to do well.
Yeah.
But instead, I felt like I was able to be like, well, that's happening. I'm going to disband and do my own thing.
But so you kind of called out the distraction.
I think it's...
Which is important.
I think I have to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone ham on an audience member? Have you ever just gone ape shit on an audience member that was being rude?
Ape shit.
Yeah, dude. Have you ever just tore somebody a new asshole?
I mean, it feels really good. I don't think I'm that like really that style of comic, but like it does feel good when someone's disrupting your set.
Yeah.
And you just say like a quick thing.
Yeah.
That just makes everyone laugh at that person.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, you're not gonna mess with me now.
Yeah.
Like that is a great feeling.
It is. I had one of those happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But I wasn't trying. It was involuntary, and it definitely didn't work in terms of eliciting a laugh.
Yeah.
Like a guy, it was a newer joke, and I had like one of the punchlines, and I was like, I don't know if that was funny, but something like that.
Yeah.
And he said, nope. And I was like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. And it came out of me. Like I didn't even. It was like a reflex.
Yeah.
And then I paused, and I was like, ooh, where do we go from here? Like I don't.
Yeah.
And I probably lost part of the, but it was just strange, and I'm trying to figure out how, like, I'm sure, you know, with more stage time that just becomes like something you do, where you know how to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So where you don't lose the room.
I remember, one time there's a disruptive guy. I feel like I really got him. This is the kind of story you want to hear, right?
This is the good stuff, James. This is why people tune in.
I do a thing in my sets sometimes where I'm like, I work at a bookstore. Does anyone here read? And then it's fun to kind of gauge the way people react to that. But then, like, I remember I did that one night.
Because it's like you might be calling them dumb.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then I remember later, after I had done that, someone was kind of like talking during my set too loud.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I remember being like, you were one of the guys who said you couldn't read earlier, right? And then, like, everyone, like, kind of, like, pointed and laughed. And he felt like a dummy, and it was fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a nice, safe, light roast of the guy.
Yeah, calling someone illiterate.
Yeah, you dumb fuck. Learn how to read, you piece of shit. No. No.
And then, I don't know.
You got something else?
No, I just feel like sometimes I don't really like the comedian owns heckler rise that's going on, but
there's a lot of those.
But it's satisfying when you see it in person.
Mm-hmm.
People are seeming to make a whole career out. It's crazy. I don't know.
I hate to bring this up, but Cody roasted the shit out of a guy last night.
Cody's very good at it.
Oh my god.
Last night, what was the? Oh, was it at
Coffee Underground?
Yeah, Coffee Underground.
I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but the guy was talking to this girl, and he's like, "What are you guys talking about?" He said he was talking about buying a Tesla or something, and Cody's like, "Get the fuck out of here, buying a Tesla! I'm buying a shitty car that's gonna."
Yeah.
And he said something about how it's not gonna last long, like it's gonna blow up or something.
Right? They blow up.
They blow up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, Elon's like
I just knew they hit people.
He's
with
like
the
a
autopilot.
dum-dum.
Yeah, you're not an Elon Musk fan?
Elon's like a dum-dum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make good stuff. But yeah, they like blow up, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he went ham on this guy. And I didn't even know. He was saying such awful shit, and people were laughing so hard. I was like, what is going on in this room
No, he
right
could
now?
really get people like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't even humble. He was saying shit like, I'm doing the best anybody's done up here tonight, and you guys are talking.
I say shit like that sometimes, and I feel bad.
I love stuff like that. I never thought to say that. But, yeah.
It's just funny, like, I feel like I've, like, made a kind of niche for myself where, like, people are like, this is a mild-mannered, soft boy, you know?
Yeah.
So whenever I do say, like, hey, what up, motherfuckers? Like, you guys are dumb. I'm smart. I'm
Yeah.
the best comic in town.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Kind
Yeah.
of thing. People are like, oh, he's crazy.
Yeah.
He's not usually like this.
Yeah.
And it's
nice when the nice guy claps back. It's pretty. I think it's funny. I think. Well, it's unexpected, so it's yeah.
because like comics used to like hosts used to like bring me on stage being like, their next comic, he's one of the sweetest little boys in town, you know. And then I'd like get on the stage and be like,
I hate that shit.
hey, you ugly fucks, you know.
I don't want him to think. Yeah, I don't like that. Like you
Yeah.
think you're a sweet little puppy that's just like whatever.
Yeah.
Like I don't want him to like pity you.
I
want him
remember
to
Mario.
want you to respect
You know
me.
Mario Treviso, right?
Yeah, I know Mario, yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell a story.
Yeah. Go
We
ahead.
were like we traveled to Baltimore together to do a show. He's from there.
Okay.
And it was really fun. It was like a
Mhm.
homecoming show for him. People were like excited. And
Yeah.
I just like featured on it. It was so fun.
Yeah.
But we were on the drive down there, and it was like he was playing music, and he realized the song like had cursing in it.
Uh-huh.
And he turned to me and he was like, James, I know you really don't curse in your act. Are you okay with listening to cursing in music? And I was just like, what do you think I am? Like Lil Bo Peep or something? You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny.
You thought you'd be offended?
Like, you can't even hear cursing
Yeah. Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you listen to Real Slim Shady, Eminem? As a kid?
When I was when I was in the Eminem time, I listened to Eminem.
Yeah.
I can't really do it. For me, Eminem has aged really badly.
I agree. What about it though made him age badly?
The wanting to kill women. That's a big.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing. That
Oh
I don't even
yeah.
think that aged badly.
Oh,
I think that just
you mean
was
the lyrics,
bad.
The lyrics in hindsight aged badly.
Yeah.
I
those
thought
are-
you meant Eminem today, like how Chappelle today is different than Chappelle.
No,
is
if you
younger.
look back on Eminem stuff, it's like, a lot of gay bashing, a lot of misogynist stuff. It's like,
That's true.
and it's like
Yeah, he had a
literally.
lot of F-bombs and not fuck.
Yeah. He uses the slur. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, it's like, I think I'm just not impressed by fast rap like I was.
Yeah.
Like I remember I used to be like, he's so fast.
Yeah.
He's going so fast.
I'll-
Like now I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, I guess. Although
Yeah.
I do remember at karaoke recently, somebody picked an Eminem song, and I was trying to sing along with it, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
I
he's
physically could not.
He is
do
very
it.
fast rapper.
So-
yeah, for sure.
But I was just thinking, like in terms of the swearing and everything, that was always a guilty pleasure for me. Because I was evangelical and non-denominational, but when I was in a friend's car that played Eminem, I was
Sure.
like, "Fuck yeah!" Like,
Sure.
there's something
Oh,
about
I remember that too.
forbidden fruit.
There's that one.
Just made you feel like a badass.
Yeah. There's like a Lil Wayne song that like features Eminem, and it's like bad. Like you remember that song "Not Afraid"? The Eminem
I'm not afraid.
Yeah, it's like this is like
to
late.
take a chance, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Go take my hand. Oh, dude, it's so bad.
that's like-
those lyrics are bad.
Which that's like comeback era Eminem. No one thought that was good. But I remember me and my friends, we used to play that. There's like a song with Lil Wayne and Eminem on it.
Yeah.
Where they're like going back to back rap and
Yeah.
we just like lose our minds playing that in my friend's Tahoe.
Yeah, dude.
With like big
Non-ironically.
big
Like, you liked it.
subwoofers in the back. Yeah, and we were
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this is the coolest. And
This
like
is
looking
the
back,
coolest shit
it's like-
ever. Yeah, dude. I used to listen to that non-ironically and love that.
Right.
There's something about it. Well, dude,
We've done it. We really did
we've
it.
done an hour.
We did an hour.
We've got a show coming up. I think. Oh shit! There's one other thing I wanted to
The
ask.
odd open mic.
So
Yeah. Oh, you
you're-
want to ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in a relationship now,
I am Allison Shellnut.
Allison. Yeah, which I love it.
She's the best.
So I want to ask about like not anything, but like dating.
Mhm.
You were you single for a period before this?
Yeah.
Or are you kind of a relationship guy? Like you've been in.
People say that. I don't really like that term.
Okay.
I also used to do a bit about that where
Really?
like, my friends used to say, "You're kind of a relationships guy." But it's
Yeah.
just because like I don't know, I feel like I'd be like, "What does that mean?" And my friend would be like, "It just means that when you're in a relationship, you spend all your time with that person."
Yeah.
And I remember just being like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, what do you do?"
Yeah.
When you're in a relationship, you're like, "We'll meet up on Tuesday."
Yeah.
Or like
Well, you seem like a good, stable person, and that's good.
I think I am kind of a relationships guy.
Yeah.
But I also don't think that's something that should be like
No, like I don't mean to.
othered.
Well, I asked selfishly because
No, it's okay.
you know dating and doing stand-up is
Right.
like a thing. It's
Sure.
like a tough thing. A lot of comics are single because it takes so much of your time.
Absolutely.
And like,
Absolutely.
So how is that? How's it going?
It's great. It's going great.
No, I'm sure it's going great.
No, it
But,
really
like,
is.
it cool?
I'm like
is it
so
like-
happy.
Yeah. But you see each other do stand-up. Did that
Yeah, I
change
mean, I
anything?
think-
Like early on, like where you're like, okay, we see each other do stand-up.
Well, what
but
you're
now we're
talking
also-
about kind of with the comedian lifestyle when you're dating,
Mhm.
it's hard like dating a comic when you're not a comic
Yeah.
because they're just like literally at night doing
Yeah.
stuff all the time. But like, you know, Allison is a comic too,
Mhm.
so she kind of understands, you know, we both do comedy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other, like, I know people are like talk about how you're not supposed to date another comic
Yeah.
for whatever reason, but
Yeah, I think that's a little silly.
I think it kind of helps because you have kind of the same mindset about
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Because, the girls I've talked to since starting doing stand-up, it's very, because it's date night, you know?
Right. We
How
like
they
see each other
understand-
do sets.
Yeah.
It's like fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But if she's not a comic,
Yeah.
you know, it'd be nice to come to a show occasionally, but they're not going to want to come every time, and you probably
Yeah.
don't even want them to come every time.
Yeah.
So,
I also
yeah.
think I kind of like the people I've like dated in the past, they all have their version of comedy. Like
Yeah.
me, like what comedy is to me,
I see.
they have some creative thing like that.
So that's a little nugget.
Yeah.
For it to be a healthy relationship, they should
Yeah.
have a thing too that they care about.
I mean, and that you support them with, too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's a two-way thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's something to look for. I hadn't added that. I'm obviously like, this is helpful. A lot of these questions are very
I mean,
self-serving,
I think
but
part of it is that I am a creative person and I like creative people.
yeah.
So like I think the people that I'm drawn to have things like that in their life. that
Yeah.
they're like, here's what I do.
Absolutely.
You know, here's my thing I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is really cool because, you know,
Yeah.
you never run out of stuff to do.
Right.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, we can, I appreciate you
Yeah.
putting up with all my questions and everything. Dude, did you have anything you wanted to shout out? We'll put all your links and stuff and social
Sure.
media and stuff, but
Yeah, I guess I got, you know, the auditorium open mic, which we're about to do every Tuesday at 9 at the Odd, not the auditorium.
yep.
Never the auditorium.
Never the
anymore.
auditorium.
It's the Odd. Tuesdays at 9, and then I'm on a show. I'm opening for a comic named Jay Light, who is really funny.
Nice.
I'm opening at Asheville Beauty Academy on the 19th,
Okay.
November 19th. Do you think people are
I don't know. This episode will
I'm
be up
excited for your-
probably after that.
okay? Well, just know I did a show,
Yeah.
and then I don't. If you want to see me, do you know Larry Griffin, the comic Larry
Yeah,
Griffin?
he did an episode.
Oh, awesome! Larry
Yeah,
did an episode.
Larry did an episode.
I'm definitely gonna listen.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Oh, it was good.
Well, I'm doing Larry's. He has a show at the Burger Bar now.
Okay.
In Asheville, and I'm doing his show on the 2nd of December.
Okay.
So you can check that out if you want to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, dude. Well, thanks a lot for doing the show.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate you like wanting to do it.
It's been so fun, David. I loved it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. Check James out. See you next time.
See ya.